seen, to know that you guys were able to just literally look at the scene that you had in front of you creatively, get everything set up technically, and not have it not go beyond 1 or 2 takes is so impressive. And that happened throughout the entire film during production. The entire production of The Replaceables. I think that is one amazing tidbit to speak about, Ray.
Well, and that's and just to be clear on that too, Avi. Obviously, when you're making a film, there are times when there's more than 1 or 2 takes that have to happen. But what I can proudly say is that I feel like because the cast that we put together, I knew these guys were performers. They're used to performing under pressure. They're used to getting it right in one take because of live TV that we have to do. And even though this is kind of a different animal, so to speak, it's a feature film. What I've started to see, and Luther and I both started to see this after about the second or third day of filming, is that if we had to go into more takes, it never was really because the actors weren't prepared. It was more like maybe there's a lighting issue or a sound issue or something. But everybody showed up prepared, knew their lines, knew what to do. They nailed their character. And so that, to me, was one of the most rewarding and most proudest moments for me to stand back and know that these guys, not that I knew they wouldn't let us down, but to know that they really, really delivered and made it look easy sometimes because that's their real pros. Dallas, for example, showed up. Dallas, and he got there, he knew his lines, and he had a lot of lines. And man, we did like you normally do. We rehearsed a little bit while they're setting up, and then boom, man, we were just, and it was just, and then we were rocking and rolling, And I will say this too. One of the things that I may have said this before, Avi, that before I forget, is because you worked on a lot of sets, Avi, and I have too. Typically on a TV or film set, a lot of times there's 2 different camps when you're talking about the crew and the cast, and a lot of times they're terribly divided in the sense that almost that purposely divided. Like a lot of times that the crew is almost made to feel not as valuable, or that they're supposed to stay away from the actors, the stars, or whatever. Well, I was very big, me and Luther both, very big on that was not going to be the air or the attitude or the atmosphere on our set.
That speaks to me.
And it was, and here's the thing: I never had to have that conversation with all of my wrestling buddies. I just knew that's how they would treat people. They would treat them with respect and treat them as equals.
There was a widespread inclusion amongst the cast and crew,
right? And I can't tell you how many people on our crew came up near the end of the filming and just said, "Wow, how much they appreciated that," because they don't always get that, and just
that made it all worthwhile though. Those moments.
Oh. And I'll tell you that one picture that says it all is another one of our wardrobe department. She was there's a picture that she posted, and I put it on the Facebook, and it's a picture of her, and she's very easy to spot because she had pink hair during the production. I don't know if she still has it or not, but Natasha. And there's a picture of Tonga holding her, hugging her.
Oh yes,
kind of like a grandfather, and just kissing her on the top of her head. And that was a lot of the atmosphere on the set was very much we're all in this together, and people throw the word family around a lot. I don't necessarily say that. I mean, that's a big word, but just the fact that it was a mutual respect and everybody felt that. And I think
incredible.
That is just, and that's one of the things I'm most proud of because the movie will be what it will be, but the people who worked on that film will go on from here and do whatever they'll do. And I just want them to be able to speak well of the experience.
Yeah, there's a shot there in the right-hand corner of Melissa there in the middle, I believe, right?
Melissa and our lead actor, Julia Denton, who plays Amanda, who just is amazing actor.
And guys, there will be I can't tell you if it's going to be here or there's another platform that we're going to talk about later, but you guys will be able to meet some of the cast and crew as well. So stay tuned for that. An amazing quality, an amazing facet of a film is camaraderie. So camaraderie, as far as the script was concerned, but camaraderie also behind the scenes. That's what it's all about. I want to say hi to Scott Denise Trenton, who's joining in, giving us a shout out.
Yeah.
George and Gus Anselmo. Larry Z was great during his run in TNA. That's from Gus.
Yep.
Tammy's asking about George Jones.
Oh man, I'm not sure what I was, but I was a big fan of George Jones, Tammy.
Yeah. There you go. And guys, I'm a big fan of movies. And you know what, Ryan? This is 2 weeks ago. We debuted a brand new segment that has taken the podcast world by storm. People love this segment. It is called Ray's Reels. And we're bringing up videos, and we're commenting about these videos Of course, last week, the chemistry and symmetry that Ray Lloyd and yours truly, Avi Klein, have was disrupted by David Holliday, but I digress. Now it's back to the terrible twosome, Ray Lloyd and myself. We're here. We're about to commentate about some 80s movies, but not just 80s movies. These are underrated 80s movies. Yes, I pulled up a video. I thought they actually had a nice collection of underrated movies that a lot of people don't really think about when they think about 80s movies. We started it off in a grandiose fashion by talking about films that we all know and love. But how about those films that maybe, I don't know, maybe they snuck by us, maybe we didn't catch them? I know I watched most of these. I want to talk about them. I know Ray, I'm curious to see which one of these films Ray has seen as well. Well, Tammy's saying Larry reminds her of George Jones.
Oh,
that's Tammy.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
yeah. My favorite George Jones song is Who's Gonna Fill Their Shoes, which is a cool song about veterans passing along, to the next generation.
That's right.
Yeah.
Gus, you got funny comments there. I love reading them. JC Farina, how is Tonga doing these days from JC?
Tonga is awesome. And I will have Tonga on here as a guest sometime here in the near future because I want him to talk about his experience because he just was amazing. He was amazing as a person and as a professional. And once again, he showed up and delivered every single day.
That's all I can ask for. Guys, these are 10 underrated films of the 1980s. If you disagree, if you have any that we don't bring up as well, feel free to write them down in the comment section. If you see some of these clips, let us know what you think of them if you've watched them. Underrated films. We will start with a film that I absolutely love, but doesn't really come up in people's top 10 lists. Let's see right now if this page is on. I am getting a blue circle, Ray, which is never a good thing.
Well, also, just as we're waiting on that, Avi, just so you guys know, I mean, Avi and I are really big on nostalgia. And honestly, as Glacier right now, I'm into the 25th year of my career as Glacier. And so what I've learned with being, that around that long is that there's a nostalgic kind of effect that comes with that, which I'm totally proud of. But on our show here, we'll typically maybe get into some more modern stuff or whatever. But because he and I both are so into nostalgic, especially 80s stuff, we kind of like to revisit that era some. So hopefully you do too, guys. Oh, this that stuff froze up on me, Bobby.
There we
We're
go.
Okay.
Yeah, can you hear me? Ray Lloyd.
Froze up for a second. I'm getting a little bit of static there, but
Okay, let's see what happens over here, guys.
okay. Hopefully, Albie will jump back on here in a second. But yeah, what I was saying, guys, is that our show is where we really do. We love nostalgia. And so that's a lot of times why we revisit stuff from like the 80s and stuff. So hopefully that's something you guys are interested in too.
How do you hear me now, Ray?
Still staticky.
So, Ray, I'm going to do this. I'm going to just get you out of the program for a second, and then I will bring Ray back up. Hopefully he hears me well. How about now?
Yeah, better.
All right, guys, we are on. And Ray can hear me.
Staticky.
A little staticky, Ray. How about this? I'm going to fix this. I'll try to live up to my name of Tiwu right now. How about that, Ray? How are we now? Testing 1.
Better. Yes, better.
Great, guys. We are on live. Sometimes things happen. I did not fall asleep, Scott Denise, so feel better about that because I'm here in living color. Two Avis are better than one. That's what they say. We got to put that on a bumper sticker one day. But guys,
the great blue blazer.
The great, yeah. And you know what, guys? Blue is the theme here for Glacier. Also, the theme is underrated movies for today. Ray's Reels continue for the 3rd straight week. You guys love this segment, so let's get on to the song and dance. This is an underrated movie as I cue it up. This movie came out in 1985, Ray. I will cue this up, and we will comment and speak about it. I want to see if Ray actually watched this film. If he didn't, it is called To Live and Die in L.A., 1985. William Peterson. Amazing film. Have you seen this film, Ray?
Yeah, I have. It's been a while, but I remember, burning the money.
They're burning the money. There we go. William Peterson, who people might know as Pat Garrett from Young Guns, too.
Yep. And I remember this was the first movie I ever saw him in. And
really?
Yeah. And I remember, I was in college during this, and I remember thinking, like, where's this guy been?
Right.
What a great actor.
Right. Amazing actor. Now, what'd you think of this as an action film?
I liked it. You know what? I thought it was kind of an unexpected action film. Like, the action doesn't really kick in until later in the film, and of course Willem Dafoe's in this too, right?
Willem Dafoe's amazing in this film. Absolutely.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He's really good. Great flick from Tony Stark. I love 80s and 90s and 80s music. Michael Anthony, great movie. Kurt Russell, too. Yeah, Joel Bateman, I've seen it once. You guys are loving this segment, so why not continue with underrated films of the 80s? I believe, Ray, you've seen this movie, the next one that's coming up. I have as well, as we transition away from To Live and Die in L.A. There's Defoe and Peterson right there in the scene.
Yeah.
We are now going to move on to Lucas, 1986 Lucas.
Ah, yeah, man. God, I kind of forgot about this movie. Yeah,
Charlie Sheen. This is kind of like an underdog story. Corey Haim, Winona Ryder, one of her first films.
Yep.
Corey Haim is playing a guy who wants to be accepted by the football team. It's the only female film where you kind of see him playing kind of like the nerd. He's usually the kind of the cool kid, but he's playing the guy who's not really accepted. And it's great to see in the end of the movie, in terms of the story arc, the entire football team embraces him. They notice his passion. He finds himself on the football field and actually plays in a game. I guess I call this movie Rudy Light. Not quite Rudy, but in terms of the theme, it's about a kid who just wants to fit in. Ray Lloyd.
Yeah, and just from growing up and listen, we all went through that where we just wanted to fit in. And
sure.
But also I think that's why that story works so well, is because everybody can relate. We've all been in those shoes, at least. And the thing is, even the people who were the jocks or whatever, that people they might not have thought. It's like everybody has their stuff they're going through.
Sure.
And I think this movie was one of the first ones that really, kind of said, "Hey guys, we should really, because kids can be mean. We all know
I promise
that.
You, Ray, I played sports all throughout my life and on teams in schools. I promise you, there was always a kid like Lucas.
Yeah.
And fortunately for me, I never really experienced watching people bully them, or I know it was out there, but I mean, I never had to experience that. But there were always kids like that, Ray.
Yeah. And like I said, I had an incident where I got bullied in second grade.
Did you? Okay.
And it affected me so badly that I remember swearing to myself in second grade at 7 years old that I would never, ever bully anybody in my entire life. And I feel I can say quite confidently I'll never have bullied anybody because of one incident that happened to me when I was in. I mean, here's the thing: my twin brother was kind of a Tasmanian devil, and he wasn't around at that time. And
right.
If he would have been, he would have just lit right into the guy that was a bully. But I was a very passive kid back then, and I still kind of am when I want to be. But I was really undersized. Most people don't realize that. I really didn't start to grow into who I was until about 8th grade or so.
Oh, is that so? Okay.
Yeah. So when I was a kid, my mom used to laugh. She would tell the story about how I had no butt. She said that she actually had to get the smallest pants they could find to take up a dart in the back because I didn't have a butt. And trust me, those days are long since past because I got plenty of butt now. But yeah, I was, and that's why I could kind of relate to Lucas because I went through a learning disability, and with a learning disability, it's not a visible disability, and
right.
So people that go through those, and that's why me and Dallas I think connected so well, because he went through that too. Is when I watched Lucas,
kind of gets brushed under the rug a little bit, right?
Yeah, I could really relate to the Lucas character, even though I was playing sports. So I kind of was in both of those worlds. But so that's why the movie really connected. I really connected with it.
I like that, and kind of brought in both elements that you said, sports and the disability there. Guys, I want to bring this up because you have a lot of comments, and you guys are the driving force of all of our podcasts live. Joel Bateman says he's seen it once. Gus Anselmo, love colorful, nostalgic things of the 80s. My wrestling character as Gus the Bus is built on nostalgia. Beep, beep. He's never seen this one. I implore you to. So, guys, that's what we're going to do. We're going to be like your newest version of Siskel and Ebert. We'll let you know if it's worth it or not. J.C. Farina, Lucas, great movie. Sad, but with a message. Yes, didn't see it. Yes.
Question for you, because you may be able to answer. Was Lucas like an after-school type movie thing? Like
no,
it
was actually
a feature film? Okay.
Feature film by one of the major studios. I don't want to talk about this now.
Okay.
But behind the scenes of this film, quite a dark history. I don't want to talk about that now.
We'll talk about it some other time.
Yeah, we'll talk about that some other time. Hollywood. Teens of the 80s, a lot of nightmare stories that you hear about.
Yeah.
Tony Stark, don't remember this one. Gus talking about Willem Dafoe would be an epic older Arkham-style Joker in a film at least one day. Yeah, I could see Willem Dafoe as the Joker. Yeah.
I could too. That's a good call.
Great comments. Scott Denise, we didn't put up with bullying at the high.
Yeah.
That's from Scott's
one of my best buddies since we were kids. So
same high school? You guys went to the same high school?
Oh yeah, we grew up together.
Great.
Still great friends to this day.
Nice. Tony Stark had the biggest crush on Carrie Green. May have to watch it. It is a great movie, guys. We will move on to another movie that I think is criminally underrated. Everyone talks about Stephen King films, and when they think about them, they talk about Pet Sematary, which is a classic. They talk about Carrie, classic. They talk about, I could just name a whole smorgasbord of different Stephen King films that were just incredibly, I guess they stand the test of time. Some of the greatest horror movies of all time. But one that doesn't get a lot of airplay –